And financial stress, as we know, is linked to dramatically higher suicide risk
Yeah.
in any population, but in the ADHD population specifically. Hey squirrels, welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go. Welcome back, squirrels. We are again talking about something that does not get nearly enough attention, and that is the ADHD tax. Today, we are not talking about theoretical ADHD tax. We are talking about ADHD tax in real dollars and in mental health impact and in life consequences. So joining me today is Natasha Barber, founder and CEO of Pistachio Pay, which is the first and only, as of right now, trauma-informed financial automation platform built specifically for neurodivergent adults. Natasha is a Berklee College of Music graduate and fourth-generation LA native. She's on a mission to eliminate what she calls the ADHD tax, the $500 to thousands per month that neurodivergent people can lose to late fees, impulse spending, and financial overwhelm. So Natasha, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled. And you got that so right. It's a bit of a mouthful. The first trauma-informed financial wellness automation app for neurodivergent users. A friend of mine recently was like, why don't you just say, the first money app with automation for neurodivergent users? I mean, the way you slice it, it's nothing's right.
Yeah.
But we are, and it is exciting. And I am building for myself as someone who's neurodivergent. And so just thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here today.
Thank you. Let me ask you just off the bat, when you say ADHD tax, what does that actually look like in real life?
Yeah. It looks like duplicate spending. Sometimes we forget that we purchased something because we have some, I don't know that it's as much memory as it is. We've got lots of things going on in our brains. And so did I do that already? I don't know. And we do it. So duplicate spending, overdraft fees, interest rates, forgotten subscriptions. There's a lot of different fees that we pay just because of our neurodivergency. And it's not just people with ADHD. Impulse spending, that's part of the ADHD's tax. It's a major issue. And so forgetting to pay a bill and having to pay penalties, all those things add up. And I think that honestly, the average is about $583 a month for people with ADHD. We're not even talking about bipolar. We're not talking about people who just have financial trauma and won't look at their banking app because that's a real thing. And so then you think about people like me who have both financial trauma and ADHD and dyslexia and dyscalculia, right? So it's if these things can add up, and it's just an enormous amount of money that's being lost by people. And I am definitely living proof of that myself.
Wow. In a previous conversation, I think you told me that 73% of neurodivergent customers feel overwhelmed managing their finances and end up avoiding their accounts, which is something that you just touched on. And that avoidance, of course, comes with shame triggering alerts and messages. And why did you do this yet? And then the envelope gets yellow and then orange and then red. I just got a red envelope in the mail the other day. And I shut my mailbox and I was like, bye. I am not dealing with
this. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that shame cycle looks like for people?
Yeah, it really is. Exactly. Hit the nail on the head. It is a cycle, right? So I don't want to even look at my bank account. Me, you know what I used to do? I'm not right now. Nate's my husband's managing finance. I would open my banking app just to see, like, if I needed to check something, did something come out? Was it already paid? I'd actually put my hand on the phone over the balance part, so I wouldn't have to see how much money I had left. And it's so triggering, right? So whether you look at the bank balance now and it's 500 and you thought it was 7, or you look at it later when it's now overdrawn, you are triggered either way. And then it just gets worse. It just snowballs into financial devastation instead of a simple, well, we could have fixed this or adjusted that, or, because we don't have the executive function that we could just turn on. Sometimes we have it, sometimes you don't.
For you, have you read The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin?
No, I
It
haven't.
talks about internal intrinsic tendencies, like born tendencies of how one relates to motivation, internal or external motivation. And I mean, I talk endlessly about how motivation is a bullshit scam, but this particular book is very, very, very insightful. And the way that we can kind of kick ourselves into high gear when we are intrinsically motivated or extrinsically motivated people is totally different. So when you're talking about being able to do something for work that is really, really important, you have people that you are accountable to. There's people who are going to know about it. There's a lot of external accountability which generate external motivation. And you can kind of use that as like a loophole or like a workaround to executive dysfunction.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I would love to read that. I will listen to it. I just got a couple new books. I got Let Them because I heard really good things about it, and I think it'll help with RSD. And I got
What an ADHD podcast. So I
yes.
can't recommend it highly enough. Closing the parentheses on that. So if any of y'all needed book recommendations, welcome along. But essentially, there's significant data that shows that people with ADHD are significantly more likely to default financially by age 40. And financial stress, as we know, is linked to dramatically higher suicide risk
Yeah.
in any population, but in the ADHD population specifically, which reframes what we're talking about from a budgeting issue to genuinely a public health issue.
Yes.
What is happening neurologically? What is happening that make financial systems so destabilizing for neurodivergent adults?
But I think there's so many different factors. Like, first, it's the shame, right? And then also we have a higher job churn rate. We are misunderstood. There's a whole, there's the understood.org, right? For a reason. If anybody's unfamiliar with it, check it out. They've got great branding too. But we are misunderstood. We already grow up feeling misunderstood, especially women. We are diagnosed so much later. So then there's already these shame, this ingrained, we feel intrinsically unworthy, and all people are intrinsically worthy. And so we already struggle with this, like, we have to prove ourselves to the world. We have to explain ourselves constantly. And then on top of it, things that everyone else think are so simple. Well, the word just, I hate it. Just this, just that, just what? Are you kidding me? And so then you feel like I'm so defective because I can't just get it together. And so your brain is constantly believing that there's something wrong with you. And without really good therapy, I think, and just some self-awareness, and honestly, I mean, we just must have so much grit as a population, people with ADHD. But what I think, I mean, I'm not a neuroscientist, but just my own lived experience and my own, little baby research that I've done, it's all of these things. It's just the constant shame. And then you get to this point where you feel like you're hopeless. Yeah. And so if a person feels hopeless and like something's never going to change, where does that leave you? So I totally understand why suicide rates in people with ADHD due to financial trauma is 4 times higher than the average person. Of all of that's going on. And you just think, oh, what's the point? It's never going to change. That's not true, because something could change in an hour. Your whole day could change dramatically. If there's anything I've learned during this experience of building Pistachio Pay, oh my goodness, startup life is a roller coaster. That is damn hard. And what's really crazy for me, I'm not getting rejected. Like, the feedback is not rejection. It's, I'm early. I've only been doing this 6 months. We process things very differently. And so, like, this is in the entrepreneurial world or in the startup world where it's a roller coaster. So my advisor, shout out to Craig Morningstar, one of my, I have 2 just incredible. Alan Hankins he's the CEO of Korean Financial, Craig Morningstar, Sage Enterprise. These 2 guys have come around us just because they really believe in who we are and also the product. And so I just love them. And Alan's been there since the very beginning, and is always available and is always advising, and just incredible. But Craig was, so that was a good one.
You're getting that advice from men, which is very, very critical, because it is true for us as well. We must adopt what they are saying and apply it to ourselves without, like, caveats. I read this book called Thieves of Purpose, and it was a book written by a man for men. Like, the way he was talking, I was like, you do not understand the inside of a woman's brain, not at all. And cool, that's fine, but it didn't negate the correctness of what he was saying and the correctness of his advice. While the application in my life is different because the expectations of me are different.
Yeah. We have to find ways to continue to tell ourselves the truth. And then another one of my advisors I meet with on a week, like, she was always telling me, you need to be a collector of no's. That This is just, well, that was another no. Let's put this in this basket. But really, again, like, I think she would agree to, it's really not no. Like, no one is saying, I don't see the market for this. This is really crowded space. And now I haven't seen what feedback looks like for other founders in real time. Of course, I'm not in the rooms with them when they're pitching, but I did. My fears of rejection are, and when I feel rejected, I have to realize that's the rejection sensitive dysphoria. It is very real. And your original question, why are people, what's going on neurologically when people are taking their own lives because of finances? It just takes so much to even get to that point.
Yeah.
And then you just feel, you already know the world's already rejecting me. Even the freaking banks are rejecting me. Everybody's rejecting me. It's like, there's no hope. And so we're hoping to bring, not hoping, we are going to bring that hope to people. I want to, that's got to stop. That's just, I'm not surprised by it, unfortunately, just not surprised by it, but it's so wrong and so unnecessary because there's a solution, but someone has to invest in someone like us because we're building from a place of lived experience. So while I totally respect these other fintech apps, and I know that this will become a category and finance for your brain will become a thing very soon. Let us do it first because we've worked really freaking hard and we live the problem every day.
Because the majority of financial apps and tools and things, they assume rational, emotionally neutral decision-making, which is an inherently flawed assumption. And when you live within that flawed assumption, it means that every time someone assumes that about you, they are piggybacking off of what you said. They're actively rejecting you.
Yeah.
You're telling me how I should be. It's not. I'm not. So what am I supposed to do about that?
Yeah. Totally feels hopeless. Like I'm supposed to change. I'm just supposed to, I had someone very well-meaning. Someone who's been crazy helpful. And I'm not, and it's not even this, I interpreted it as, I can't be that. Like he was saying, you just have to get obsessed with the thing that you hate. And I'm like, I didn't say this out loud because the person was someone I deeply respect and is an investor himself and is an amazing person. But inside I was thinking, it's not about hate. It's about ability.
Yeah.
And I'm not enabled to do these things. And so I am obsessed with it. But the way that I'm going to do it is just going to be different. And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to delegate that to someone who's amazing at it, not just better than me, not just someone who's a little better than me, someone who's ridiculous.
And honestly, there are almost no meaningful statistics about neurodivergent founders in your venture ecosystem.
Good point.
And I would assume that the entire system creates executive function barriers. I am from the grant writing world. I know about grants. You want to talk to me about getting over your executive function, you make someone write a grant. So my assumption is that the VC process is extremely, extremely similar. And there's long applications and perfection-heavy pitch decks and administrative load. So RSD is triggered, and also your executive function is challenged on multiple different levels.
Yes, daily.
So how does that, and this is not critical per se, but how does that system filter out specific innovators? And what did it take for you? What is it taking for you to push through that?
Honestly, this is one of the things I think about on a regular basis. If I didn't have the mom I'm at and the personality that I have and the experience that I have building things and seeing the impossible happen, I've seen impossible things. So if I hadn't had that background, and I think just sort of my drive and like my being so fed up, I didn't have all that. I don't think I would have made it this far at all. And so you've got, as far as all the innovation that's been filtered out, who knows, right? Who knows? Like, I feel like you have to be so perfect. And it's really, even just like the act of going on LinkedIn, which by the way, to me is the most encouraging platform out there. I'm not even on Facebook and Instagram anymore. I love the following that I've curated and I love the people that I follow. And it's all inspiration and it's all people that don't feel the need to be proving themselves. So it just changes everything. But following a lot of VCs, following a lot of, firms and all this, and you get, and Forbes and Fortune. And again, not being critical, like I'm trying to be really careful to not use blanket statements and things, but from my own heart, I log in, I'm working so hard. Maybe I put in 10 hours that day on Pistachio Pay. So hard. And I was on 2 podcasts and I spoke with an investor and I'm exhausted. And then I log in and I see that a pre-seed company with 3 men and their arms around each other who went to Stanford got a $2 million investment and they just have another LLM. You know what I mean? Do I know what you mean? Sister. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not trying to have the chip on my shoulder. But there is a gender disparity that, 2% of women get VC funds. And then you've got I'm Hispanic. So we get, I think, less than 0.5%. And then the neurodivergent, I couldn't find any real statistics. I am a dropout. So I went to Berkeley. I think at the beginning you said I graduated. I was working full time in music and as a music director and trying to balance that, driving in the snow, going to Boston. It was exhausting. And, living about 45 minutes on a good day, but with traffic, forget it was an hour and a half trying to get there. And I went to my academic advisor and he was like, do you know how many people graduate from Berkeley? He's like, we have like a 48% graduation rate. He said, Jen Merritt didn't graduate from here. He's like, he's like, I would say take the job because in music, it's really rare. And so I wouldn't be that far away if I wanted to go back, but who's got the time, right? I don't have the time. So I did.
I finished my bachelor's last year, so I hear you.
Congratulations. And I'm so absolutely committed. I lost my job. I was promised 3 months severance. I was given 1 week. And I was terrified. I'd been working on Pistachio Pay already, just as a concept. I'd been and I started posting on LinkedIn already. I think first of all, I think that people who are neurodivergent, because of everything we've been through, we are more brave a lot of the time to take risks because, well, we've had to prove ourselves our entire lives and we already feel misunderstood to begin with. So if there's anything about being an entrepreneur, it's yeah, you're going to be misunderstood, but you're used to that. Sure. If there's someone watching this and you're like,
we're very well prepared. That's true.
Right? So if you're thinking about it, just try, just take a leap because you can, because you've done hard things before and you can do hard things again. And if it matters enough, then that's the thing that drives you every day. And then we just have to navigate things and be aware. So that's the other thing I would say, self-awareness. How am I getting through this? I'm a very hyper self-aware person. I just am. And that's coming from my therapists that I've worked with. So I am very self-aware. I have that as I think that's a positive thing for me. That's an advantage. But if you're not, then talk to your therapist about that and try to figure out, how do I do this? Maybe, just do some digging on yourself. Where are my pain points? Why am I feeling this right now? So I am concerned. I feel like there needs to be more support for neurodivergent founders. I'm starting something, I'm going to do it. So I think I've met with 4 or 5 neurodivergent founders here in Los Angeles and I'm why don't I just do a brunch or something? Why don't I just do maybe a quarterly call? Hey, how's everybody doing? Are we all okay? Is anybody dealing with some rejection sensitive dysphoria? Let's process that together. And let's talk about where we've all been and how we've gotten through it. Some of us are a little ahead. Some of us are a little in different places behind. Some of us are just starting. Some of us are super experienced. And so right now I'm in a cohort with it's called Startup Insider with Will Phillips. He does this amazing, it's called Insider. It's from Startup Insider. He has these incredibly well-produced videos that are following investors and founders that are up and coming and stuff like that. It's great. And so I'm excited for today's call. Actually, we have a call today. And it's just this small environment where you get to hear from people that are ahead of you. So the last time we heard from this woman who is working, I think, on her Series A, but she's already raised $6 million for this neurodivergent education app that she has. It's really sensational. But hearing from her and hearing her as a neurodivergent founder, I just had so many questions. And it was so encouraging. She made it. She did it. And that gave me hope. And I'm ooh, I know that I'm in a place where I can give some people hope too. I'm not where she's at. We haven't raised yet. We're trying, but I know that I've achieved things that I can give some hope to another neurodivergent founder. So I think that there's way more of us than we realize. So many get killed before they even hit the pitch room floor, I believe, because it's so hard to even get to that point. And yeah, the VC applications are very prohibitive. I mean, I almost died. I did it, but I swear, it was one of the applications that I think will yield its weight in the time that I gave to it. It will be worth it. But oh my goodness, 10 pages long. And every page had drop downs with more stuff, depending on what you answered, and videos.
I know exactly how to do this process. Yeah. I have never even attempted for myself.
Yeah, it's
never even attempted. I was I'm gonna just do it the long way. And honestly, like the long way I don't know if it was worth it or not worth it, but I needed the time to become who I needed to be the person who can run the company that I envisioned in my mind. And that happened simultaneously with me building my company, which is part of the downside. It's starting so young. We're only a decade apart.
Yeah.
But in terms of your life experience, your maturity, your ability to see things differently, your ability to detach from systems, the way your RSD hits you as a more mature woman than as a younger woman, it's completely and totally different. The people that you have around you and being open to surrounding yourself with neurodivergent people. Because what I have found about every single one of us is there's not a gatekeeper among us.
Man. No.
If I know somebody that can help,
No.
take my knowledge, take my information, because I'm so obsessed with the thing I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
so obsessed with the thing you're obsessed with. I want to give you any information, anything I can. Like we earlier had a little conversation where we were talking about some more proprietary stuff. I had ideas that, in my opinion, are fantastic freaking ideas. Should I save them for myself? No, it's an idea that can help you exactly with what you need right now. So if I had the thought and I came up with some sort of intellectual property, I would never keep it for myself if it
Yeah.
could push you further along. Keeping it for myself allows my IP to die.
Right.
Sharing
Wow.
with
That's
you
so true.
allows you to do something with it. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm the exact same way, and I just don't think that's the case in the neurotypical world.
It's not.
I think it has to
Like
do with
lonely and sad.
it's just I know, but I also wonder, like, so I'm bringing on someone who's neurotypical. Hopefully, again, I keep saying this because I'm so excited about it. But this person, we were at a networking event together the other day, and I am just like talking and talking and about all these things. Then we had some private time together, and we're talking about a partnership of her coming on board, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm like, I give away too much IP. You could really help hold me back from that. Because I do. I'm very trusting. I think that I know that there is neuroscience behind that with people who have ADHD and people who are autistic. I think I'm ADHD. I just haven't been assessed. I don't personally
Get a
so
set.
but I'm like, I mean, I was playing classical music by ear by 5. I have extraordinary gifts, but I also have some 2E. I've been told by a therapist that I'm 2E, twice exceptional, which sounds way more cool than it's actually more sad than it is cool. It's like because it's
I'm in the
frustrating.
same camp as you. It's rough over here.
Yeah, it's like so I think that we're just very trusting and we love and we want to help and we give and then the worst part is we don't always receive. And so pour out, pour out, pour out, give, give, give. And then on the other side, we're expecting the same, right? I'm finding that now in this season of life. But prior, I would say that it's pretty rare that people were as open, as giving, as generous with resources and time. And I'm not saying it to prop myself up. I'm really not. I hope I don't sound so arrogant. It's not what I mean. It's just piggybacking off of what you said because I never heard anyone articulate it that way. And I'm like, oh, that's a mirror. That's exactly how I am.
That's the cool thing is you can't sound arrogant in a space where everybody is standing on their own thing, right? I am exceptional at identifying gaps in systems and pinpointing misses in communication between neurotypicals and neurodivergents. That is my one very specific, special interest place. And that is where I get to live and work all the time. But it means that I have all kinds of ideas that if I'm giving it to the right person, it can change your life. And I'm giving it to the wrong person, who gives a flying fuck? They're not gonna implement on it anyways.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do anything with the idea anyways. There is no such thing as giving too much. There is such a thing as giving too much in wrong spaces when you have an expectation of receiving in return. That makes it really difficult because if you're pouring in with the expectation of receiving back, you're never going to get as much as you pour in because you're exceptional.
Well, and I think
Like,
I don't work in. Yeah.
It's not going to work.
I don't, it's weird because I think maybe subconsciously just, it's not expectation. I assume.
It's
I assume that like my little heart just thinks, of course.
That's when I say expectation, it's my expectation because that's my expectation of the people that I interact with. I expect that when I care for you and you care for me, that this is the way we treat each other. And so it's like, it's a hope, but it's more than hope. It's just like, these are no emotions. This is the way friends treat each other.
Yeah, yeah, but see, being in this space too, like I said, I need to get better at protecting our IP, and it's not because we're being selfish.
Unless you're only surrounded by neurodivergent.
Yeah, right. I
No,
really
no, but like,
yeah,
but I'm not
right?
joking. Like, this is the differentiation between when you are safe and when you're not safe. And this is not an advice podcast, but when you are safe, when you are like, oh, you're me, and we're bouncing ideas off of each other, you're cool.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you're in a pitch space or you're with business people, and I will specifically say, don't come from or do come for me in the comments. I love engagement. Businessmen, keep your mouth shut. I'm not
listen,
gonna. You will receive a million more times by listening to the men around you than by speaking for two reasons. And man, again, come for me in the comments if you want. I'm right here. But two things. One, they will give you a lot of information if you just let people talk. And you need information from other people because you already know what you think in your mind.
yeah,
Secondly, they're not fucking listening to you anyways because they're there to speak and not there to listen. So if ever you're in a place where other people are primed to speak, you keep your mouth shut at all costs. Eat a lollipop. Literally eat food all day. And this is what I would do. This is what I used to do. I would come with snacks and I would always have my mouth full. So I cannot talk to you because the rules of social politeness dictate that I don't. And it's been so if
you're
I
so
feel like I want to say something, I'm putting food in my mouth.
oh my gosh, that's funny. I that is great advice. I know I'm learning and I'm taking the advice of the people around me and I'm trying to be careful about it, but I am very trusting. And it's interesting that what we're hitting on right now. Just thinking about the neurodivergent community. I felt so loved and so accepted and so welcomed and then just such a burden because they're just like, please bring us this product. And I'm like, I'm trying, so I love it, and when I do meet with people that aren't in my space but are adjacent and they're building something similar and we talk, I don't feel afraid in those spaces to be really open because I know that they're obsessed with what they're working on. They don't have time to be working on what I'm working on. They try, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know I'm too obsessed with what I'm working on to take someone else's. There's no room for that. Like, so that's really true and really interesting. I just somebody not wish. I'm gonna figure it out. Someone has to start doing some research on neurodivergent founders, the barriers, and how many people actually maybe start things, but they don't ever reach even the point of pitching. I'm curious of that. I'm curious of how many get killed before they hit the pitch room floor, as I call it, because I just wonder, again, without this tenacity inside me because of because of my mom and my personality and my life experience and just who I am, and the need that that deeply drives me. I am literally building this product for me. So I think about that a lot. I'm like, I wouldn't want that. I would want this. I would want this, not that. So I'm so passionate, so driven, but I think that's unique. Like all those things all together. And maybe even if you have all of that, then on top of it, if you maybe haven't had as much therapy with RSD or you just have a harder time with it, I have a really hard time with it. It's not that I don't. It's just that I'm quick. The turnaround's very fast for me. I could be devastated. Like the world is ending. And then literally within a half an hour, I've completely bounced back and I've actually done many wins that day that are crazy stratospherically amazing. And that's coming from people that mentor me. They're like, I don't know. It must be a roller coaster for them. Sometimes I feel really obsessive because I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, but I'm respectful. I'm not, I don't ever want to be a burden to anyone. But I do have, that's what advisors are for. And that's what people around you are for, is to help you sift through those things. And what's beautiful about the people I have around me is they understand the neurodivergent part. So they're safe people. And then I have my therapist. Well, I need a new one right now because the one I had moved out of the country. But anyway, so I, I lean on those safe spaces, those safe people. And then that way I can show up and be fully myself. I'm quick at like the turnaround time. Yeah. I don't think everyone is that way. And so I really would love to see someone do some studies on this kind of thing.
I love that. I love that idea. And also what you're saying about RSD is so on point. It doesn't go away. It's just a matter of speeding up the turnaround. Yeah, because it's going to happen. And either it can happen and you can like go into it and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, or not. And then you have an opportunity to take a quick left.
I'm never down and out for like a day, not even a day. I'm never down and out for more than like probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And it's intense, and then it's over because then I'm moving on to the next thing because there's so much to do anyway. So I'm just like, well, I have to do this. And honestly, it's going to distract me from being super bummed out right now over this thing. It's self-led. And I'm just like, come on, pick yourself up, get over it, move on. You've got work to do, right? I get the Tom Brady in my head, my mom in my head. Like, come on, you got work to do. Like, come on, show up. Well, that happens a lot. It has to happen a lot. But I just wonder how many people that they just don't have those skills or they don't have the right support system around them. Of people, well, that's why I think like there has to be. I mean, there's groups like I'm in neurodivergent founders and groups on stuff on LinkedIn. But like I feel like it needs to be a call. Like we need to do like something where we are able to help each other.
I'm with you on that because I'm also playing around with building something. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that because there's something
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. I think it'd be really, really healing and helpful to a lot of people, including me. Yeah, and then I know like what if I could get the girl that was on the insider thing to come in? I mean, she's so inspirational. I mean, I don't know how much she ended up raising. She was going to close her Series A that day, and it was going to be a lot. I can't remember, but I mean, getting someone like her, giving us all hope. Like I know how many in the room for the insider thing the other day were neurodivergent, but she sure was. And hearing from her experience, I was just like, oh, there's hope. This is possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I want to be that for other people, but I also have access to people like that who I really look up to. And
you are really inspiring me to look into some pitches because I don't know, it's there. Maybe it's possible. And the other thing that I'm taking from you that's really, really helpful for me, I did it. My mom isn't like your mom. She's amazing. She's tremendous. She's done a lot in her life, but she struggles with a lot of the same anxiety and internal speak that I do, and internal dialogue, and hasn't necessarily had the time and support to be able to really delve into those aspects of herself. So when I'm looking at you, for me, I get really hopeful as a mom because I have two kids. And the way your mom talked to you is the way I talk to them.
yeah.
And how cool is it that things are going to be a little bit easier for them?
Yeah, you're breaking that well, my mom and I used to talk about the generational curse. She didn't want to, we were breaking those patterns, from the past. And, we call it being unbound. So my mom and I had a vision for a ministry called Unbound, and it evolved into this concept of getting abandoned malls and turning them into villages for women and children on the street because they make up a third of the homeless population. 85% of them, of that third of families, is 85% is women and children, which is abhorrent. That is sick. That shouldn't be a thing. I don't want to see another mall turn into freaking luxury housing for people. Anyways, so that's a whole thing. But my mom and I, so I want to build these villages and have them use Pistachio Pay and have, hair, cosmetology, and you can get your GED, and there's a beautiful playground for kids, and there's a preschool that's like top notch, not crappy, like really good, like developmentally appropriate and all that good stuff. I mean, and then beautiful apartments they can be in for like a couple of years. That's like the long term, 10 years from now. That's what I want to use my money for. Like, yeah, Pistachio Pay could be ridiculously successful as far as financially for me. But what I want to do with that money is start villages for women and children on the streets and break those generational cycles, right? Because those kids of those women who have maybe addiction issues and are coming out of homelessness and fighting and clawing to get to the top, they may not have the language, they may not have the understanding of really how important it is to instill that then in their children. It's more than just the modeling, it's the words.
I have to tell you that my entire life I have had a dream. Well, it solidified when I started working with youth at risk. And one of the first things that I was doing there when I was 16 and I moved to Israel, I was living in a group foster home. The way that this foster home was arranged was in family units. So you had 12 kids and two parents who were a couple, and they often had like biological younger children of their own. And I thought, if we could take this and put it in a village and have all of the resources that you would require within the village, then you not only have the village for the children and the supports that they need within geographic proximity, but also built-in support for the people who are supporting these kids.
And so interesting. Yeah.
If that can expand to including the parents who choose and wish to be involved with the kids, as opposed to separating and reunifying on weekends, allowing unification to happen in a more measured or supported way, on a more consistent basis would be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
with you on the malls.
yeah, but I'm thinking about like, okay, well, women and children in the street, but like if we were to say we're also, if you're a foster family and you want to come in and be a part of this, and we have housing allocated for them to
Then
be
you
able.
have to have good foster families. If
Oh,
you're a
God, go for
foster
other
parent,
foster.
if you're a shitty foster parent, everyone around you in the village is going to know. They're going to know, and they're going to take a grassroots approach to that, and they're going to do what they need to do to figure out what needs to be figured out, like a village does.
Because what you shouldn't like look at my husband and I would be foster parents. So we actually again living the problem. We would be foster parents right now. We don't have kids. We just didn't get around to it. So, but would we foster? It's allowed. I don't know what's allowed, and have this entire ecosystem of people, this entire community of people supporting us and being there with us. And there's there's a food court in malls. I mean, there's so much you can do. So much you can do in a mall, and they're so big. And it's like I just love it, and I love this little extra layer that she just gave me, but I've got to make Pistachio Pay happen first.
Well, make your game happen. I'll make a listo happen. And it's when we meet in 5 years from now, and we have a lot of money that we are looking to give to a particular project, we know where it's going to go. There's so much, Natasha, that we haven't even spoken about. We have like a recidivism angle, the prison angle that we haven't even touched on. We didn't even go terribly deep into Pistachio Pay, but if you are listening to us and you are a neurodivergent person who struggles with all of the things that we spoke about, because you're not alone, Natasha and I both struggle with very, very, very similar challenges surrounding our finances, you can learn more about it at pistachiopay.com. You can connect with Natasha on LinkedIn. She loves to talk to you. And if you're an angel investor and you have monies, listen, find her. She wants to talk to you. You might be an interesting person to her. Thank you so much for participating in this conversation that is reframing financial struggle not as irresponsibility, but as a system design failure, because that really changes everything.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for seeing it. Every single time someone gets it, it makes my heart just light up. So thank you for seeing it.
Is there any other way that the people should connect with you besides for the ways I named?
No, but one thing about the landing page, it's just a landing page right now for the website. But what's really important is we would love for you to join the wait list. So there's two options. There's one, if your executive function is tanked and you don't want to be doing a survey, there's like a few little questions that we ask on there because we want to be able to tell investors how much people are willing to pay for it, and a couple of other really easy questions. So that just says wait list. And then there's one that says survey plus wait list. That one, people have told us they feel seen doing the survey. And so it's really interesting. We're asking lots of questions around your relationship with money, and that way we can build the product literally for you. And so right now it's really a growing wait list. It's quite exciting. That would really help us a lot. So please go ahead and do that. And then follow me. I'm on LinkedIn. I know I'm not great right now at doing content for our page. I'm just so spread thin with everything I'm doing. So I'm probably doing content this week just because I'm taking so many meetings, but I write a lot, and I feel like the things that I'm writing, although they're simple, are helpful for people. And also, if you're someone who's neurodivergent founder, please reach out to me. Let's talk. I'm willing to listen and just be there for you and encourage you to try, because I feel like a lot of us maybe don't even try because we don't think it's possible. But I'm here to tell you that a lot more is possible than you could ever imagine. So that's everything. And that's it. Just LinkedIn. It's like Natasha-Barber-Pistachio-Pay is my LinkedIn.
Cool. So we will link to everything in the link places. And that's where we're going to end. That you should try. Because impossible things are possible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Natasha. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And squirrels, we will see you again next week.
Bye.